Now we know they knew.
Does the president regret making that claim?
Jim, I think I answered the question.
You should have been more precise.
If you had a plan on the individual market and you liked it and you like it and you kept it, you can keep it forever as long as your insurer offers it.
It's true that some people have been told that their policies were canceled.
I am aware that there are issuers in states who are canceling their old plans, which were grandfathered in, and moving to new plans, which have to meet.
So what you just said about keeping your health care plan isn't true.
No, they could keep it. The issuers chose.
No, they can't keep it. They just got cancellation notices.
Here is why Americans don't trust this health care law. They do not trust the guy who created this health care law. The guy who said we could keep our doctor, but now acknowledges maybe not. The guy who said most Americans would be better off, but maybe won't. The guy who said he was outraged by these technical fumbles, but did little to prevent them and since to correct them. That guy is you, Mr. President, whose outrage knows no bounds for screw-ups that seem to know no end. The guy who always says he is seething from mistakes that just keep mushrooming. Whose vows to fix the law you know had problems don't sound much different from similar vows you made after so many other problems. Your problems, Mr. President, your vows, Mr. President, you, Mr. President, the guy who said he was similarly outraged by an IRS that targeted conservatives and promised that he would get to the bottom of it, but hasn't. Promised the same thing about an overreaching Justice Department going after reporters, but didn't. Promised to be hands-on, but admitted these last few years of spying on foreign leaders, he was out of the loop. Failing to follow up on the things you said you would. Failing to follow through on the very health care law you vowed you would. Pushing things, then dropping things. On top of things, then oblivious to things. Naming commissions, then ignoring those commissions. Vowing to address the debt, then dismissing it. Shouting for bipartisanship, then rejecting it. Demanding Republicans be accountable, but never holding yourself accountable. Blasting sequestration cuts you first suggested as a backup budget backbone. Then hammering the other guys as if it was all their idea. Like you were a dog with a bone. Taking credit for a market rally that was more due to a Federal Reserve throwing good money after bad, really. Humiliating countless CEOs in public, then begging their support for hapless initiatives in private, like the stimulus that needed more stimulus, and the rescues that themselves needed more rescues. The promise is broken. The promise is forgotten. Lost in the legalese of an administration now drifting, and an administration whose idea of action is making a good speech. And suddenly shocked to find that Americans are now saying, good grief, because they've heard all they want to hear, Mr. President, and they don't want to hear anymore. Because they thought you meant what you said, but they've come to discover what you said you didn't mean. That's what all this means, sir. One too many promises broken, and now just broke. That's what is at issue here, Mr. President. It's not that Americans find you to be a broken record. I hate to break it to you, sir. They find that you're broke, period. No follow-through, just through.